you win it. And you've got to go all the way to the end.
Lando into the final corner, his first win of the championship. Lando across the line.
Once you win it, and you've got to go all the way to the end.
Lando into the final corner, his first win of the championship. Lando across the line to win in China.
Because you commit yourself to such a level where there is no compromise. You give everything you have.
The strategy paid off. Here, one of the best hits I've ever seen on the medium tires. Nick Phil wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
Nathan also final chicane. Rudy's trying to go for it on the inside. There's still both wheels of water. Mayor Will's old school's gone round.
Oh my word!
And you need more than anything a very clear mind to understand exactly when is the moment to be aggressive, when is the moment to be calculated.
He spun. Of course, Brendan's spun.
Oh, wing damage. Oh, Brendan's out.
He's out of race. Oh my God, he's out of race.
When you are under a lot of pressure, in a critical moment, in a championship or in a particular race, it's the one that can put together the combination between aggressivity and calculating things that will get the best result.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the League of Europe for round number 4, coming to you from the Miami International Autodrome, and for the first time this season alongside me in the commentator's box, I'm very excited to announce QVR Maverick alongside me. So yeah, first race, took a little bit of a vacation I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, I was on vacation for the last 2 rounds, and then the first one I had to work. So, hold your applause, everyone. I finally made it. Finally here. Ready to get it going. And I mean, it's the Miami International Autodrome. It's the newest track on the calendar. What I could tell, it seemed like Division 1, Division 3 had some pretty good races. So. Hopefully we can get a good race here in Division 4, and I think the 19 corners around this track, I think, are going to provide a really good challenge to these guys. So let's get loaded into this thing, and let's see how everything plays out.
Yeah, should be pretty interesting. Of course, after the sprint race last time out at the Circuit of the Americas, Harry Noarg leads our championship, with Ryan B, of course, being moved up to Division 3, even though because he did win the sprint and the Grand Prix last time out. So Harry Noarg leads our championship, but it's only 1 point behind him is Connor O'Keefe, and then another 1 point back is T-Rum. So this championship looking pretty spicy 3 races in. Ariel Jordan on 30 points in 4th, Jay Hings on 29, as well as Ben Scott 5th and 6th, Jamie Met on 18 points in 7th, and EVG Damon Poldypol is 8th and 9th in the standings, and then Jess Gamer will round out our top 10 on 11 points. So yeah, we have just loaded in. However, I do want to show this very quick on stream before we get loaded here into our usual 18-minute short qualifying session, is the Battle of the Legends. Of course, this was posted on Twitter yesterday, or last evening, so hopefully go follow us, the League of Europe Twitter account, and subscribe while you're at it. We're getting pretty close to 900 subscribers as well. But Cerebel, 2 points so far this season, and Mark Aldridge only on 1, Old School 3000, of course. Yeah. Now we can pull up the stream and get to commentating over this first ever Miami Grand Prix for Division 4. And going into this race, we're lacking a Ryan B, so that completely throws things wide open.
I think might be a sigh of relief for these guys. Obviously, I think Ryan B scored like 63 points or something in just first 3 races. But obviously, like I say, with the sprints, there's an extra 8 points or so, I think is what they changed it to. But, you know, and then he was at 63. Harry's at like 35 or something. So just the gap from first to second was huge. So I think these guys, they kind of now know that since Ryan isn't going to be here, everything might just be more of a normal pace for these guys. And I think now we'll definitely see what Division 4 should have been if Ryan B wasn't there for the first 2 races. So I think these guys might be the first normal race these guys will have.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting getting into this one. As someone just pointing out in the comments there, top 6 separated by 6 points in the championship. So should be pretty interesting, but our first driver out on track is going to be Jay Hings, representing AlphaTauri, of course. Miami International Autodrome. First race, of course, was this year where Charles Leclerc took pole position and Max Verstappen took the race win. I do believe not the 57 laps that we saw in real life here this evening. It's going to be only 29 for your entertainment. Of course, 50% race. We wouldn't want to absolutely kill these guys. If you do want to see 100% race action, go and check it out. I believe it starts next week on the Wednesday. I'm not sure what the track is going to be, but Jay Hings is just coming down into the final sector for our first flying lap here in Division 4. 3 DRS zones, and the first one is going to be on this pit straight. As you're winding your way through the final 2 corners, you can use curves here in Miami. Just have to be a little bit cautious. Braking into turn 1 wide of the apex, but gets it cut back into 2 and into 3. You can hook yourself on the curves, but you can use the curves or you can't use the curves. Either way, there's fast ways to do both. And now it's the left-hander 4, the right-hander 5. You want to hook it a little bit until that little popped-up bit ends, and then through 6 and wind your way through 7, a little bit wide, but he kept it on the curve, and now through 7 and through 8, and now we're on to the back straight for 30.9 for the first sector as we activate the DRS through turn 9, and then the left-hander, the winding left-hander of turn 10. Now you want to keep it to the right-hand side as we brake into turn 11. Difficult left-hander, 3rd or 4th gear usually, now into this long sweeping right-hander of turn 12. Now you flick it into 13, go all the way out as you break into 14 and 15. You want to hop over the curb as much as possible. And now into the left-hander 16. This exit is going to be very crucial. 2nd gear, short shift 3rd, 4th, and now we get through the DRS protection point, a little scrape of the wall for Jay there, activating the DRS. There's an Aston Martin out in front of him. Who is that going to be? I believe that's Old School just preparing for a lap. He should be well out of the way. Speed trap right here, and now into turn 17 at the end of the final DRS zone. And now be careful because the car can snap here through 18 and through 19. Old School giving a nice little search to Jay Hings, so I'm sure people will be improving on that. It's a 29.419. I'd imagine we see times well into the 28.
Yeah, I think the slipstream helped Jay Hings just enough to maybe boost that time a little bit, but Durante 29.1 provisional pole with still a lot of time left and a lot of drivers still finishing up their first laps. The Mercedes of Jordan JT
just starting
his lap. That one's on me. Let's see who's next. Alfa Romeo. Sebastian starting his lap. Who's next? Jeez.
Aaron Noir just crossed the line. He goes on to provisional pole position. There's our championship leader showing up for Red Bull Racing, a 128.387 for Aaron Noir. And then T-Brum, who has, I guess, recently joined CPI here in Division 4 because he is up on the provisional pole position. So when I said times well into the 28s, I meant into the 27s, of course, you know. But yes, T-Brum 28.094. Him, Harry Noir, and Energetics all kind of spread out pretty decently. It's Saronje, and then that's where you really get to the rest of the field. Fully Poles on a 29.2, Jay Hinks at a 0.4, Axel on a 0.6, Damon on a 0.8, and then Jess, the first driver, first driver to set a time in the 30s, as well as Jamie Metz. So the 2 Ferraris a little off the pace. I'm sure they'll be looking for a little bit more as we head further into the session. Old School coming through the final corner just across the line. So 34.2, maybe made a mistake on that lap, but he has turned his ERS down. So I'm sure we'll be looking forward to seeing more from him later on in the session. Connor O'Keefe has just started. And I believe most people will be heading into the pit lane. Jordan JT, of course, previously Ariel. Jordan leaving Ariel this morning. was a co-owner, I do believe, so stepping down from a pretty big position there in RAL, but Jordan goes up to 4th because with his new teammate being CPI team run, of course, not having Ryan B anymore, and I think that's Esteban who just crossed the line and got P5.
Get some pretty good times. I'm gonna get the they're not intervals anymore, I don't believe, for the timing pylon.
I'm not sure.
All I have is tires.
It should be tires, then telemetry, and lap data.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I got it. So anyway, I first time this season, so give me a little break here. Top 4, 7/10. It's a pretty big gap. Top 2 only separated by about just under 3/10. So I think that's time that can easily be made up. There's so many corners on this track where you can just find time by maybe short shifting or maybe taking a different line. I think that's the beauty of this track, is that there's just so much difference in everything. Is Sebastian retires. That's at the chicane under the viaduct.
Yeah, keep going for Energetics, who, for whatever reason, is doing the second lap. Just heading up the hill here through. That's weird. Maybe hit the wall on the inside, I think, is the only thing I can imagine, but not really sure what happened there. Who else is on the lap? I believe Ben Scott just coming through that area, hopping over the chicane, of course. Yeah, just heading now on the back straight with the DRS about to be open. Yeah, so Ben Scott coming to the final few corners just to set his first lap here in qualifying. Only 4 drivers now to set a lap out of the 20, so full grid here tonight for your viewing pleasure. Ben Scott goes up to P4. That's a pretty decent lap for the AlphaTauri. I think Jav is the next one going to be coming to cross the line. There's a McLaren. That might just be Damon to start his lap. There's an Alpine as well. I think that's Soronje just starting as well. So we'll hop on board with, is this? I'm not really sure who the next McLaren is. Connor O'Keefe or EVG Damon. Jav up into 16th. It's going to be Connor O'Keefe. He's just going to be heading to the pit lane. Williams, it's going to be Ibo. He's invalidated, unfortunately. And then a Ferrari, which is just on an out lap. So let's see if we can get the next person on a lap. I think it's going to be EVG Damon, as he's just heading through the first sector now into the middle. And he's almost half a second up.
Guess he needs to be flying 4/10 down the back straight. That's not really a straightaway. There's just a lot of curves in here. Heading down into turn 11, using all the runoff that they give you here onto the right side through this stadium section almost. It's not as good as the one in Mexico. Swinging out wide, clip the curb. Oh, nearly, and he does go around. He nearly had that save. That would have been a pretty good save. Has to be careful not to get disqualified for going the wrong way there, but 4/10, that would have put him somewhere inside the top 10 for sure. I'll just went away, just getting a little bit wide onto that turn 14 and 15 chicane. It will catch. That will not be the last time we will see someone spin there. I will bet there will be more.
Yeah, 100%. There are going to be more people spinning. The circuit is so very difficult. And of course, only the first year of racing here, so not entirely gripped up. The driver's still getting acclimated, of course. I mean, I was still getting acclimated to the circuit even as we headed into Division 1 qualifying. So, yeah, just looking for anyone else on a lap, really. I think Jamie Met has backed off. Jess seems to be on a lap, but I wonder if that Aston Martin is on a lap. I don't think it's. I don't think it's Old School on an out lap. Jess Gamer, though, heading through this middle sector and into this, as you called, almost stadium section as we flick a left for turn 13 and 14, 15 as you just hop over the curbs, let the suspension do its thing, and the ride height glide over those sausage curbs, and now through 16 and now through the middle sector. Didn't quite catch how much Jess was up there, but I'm sure it's decent enough to put her hopefully into the top 10 and be a little bit competitive. Of course, Jess 10th in the championship so far this season, breaking into turn 17 as you wind it through the left-hander, then get the car straight as possible before you flick it into 18 with a little bit of a lift, and now through up to 7th gear with the DRS active across the line. It's half a second, just outside of the top 10 though. You're going to need another 2.5 tenths if she wants to find herself up there in front of Jay Hings. Speaking of Jay Hings, he's just coming to cross the line. He was only a 10th up through the middle sector split. Let's see what it's going to be across the line. Doesn't find any time. If anything, loses time in that final sector. So maybe a little bit of a mistake there at the final corner.
Yeah, definitely one of those things where you just gotta keep finding time around here as Connor starts what could be a second to last lap. Starts into the pits. I believe Jordan behind him following into the pits as well. T-Brum looks to be finishing his lap through the second sector split. He's only 10th up, and he does not find any time. He was about 300ths below his previous time of a 28 flat. So he definitely has the pace to go just a little bit quicker. It just depends on if he can nail it through the third sector.
Ooh.
I think that's where he lost his time.
Yeah, speaking of losing time in the third sector, Old School spinning around at turn 17 just before he flicked into 18. Didn't quite get up to 4th gear. That's where he would have wanted to be at that point in the corner. But yeah, he wasn't up by too much, I don't think. Was Old School 3000 there, so he'll have another lap. Of course, 5.5 minutes just over left here in our 18-minute short qualifying session. I think Connor O'Keefe is on a lap right now. The McLaren driver just heading down towards the final corner, second in the championship, of course, picking up a 3rd place and 15 points the last time out at the Circuit of the Americas. Even with the sprint race, only 15 points, but he's going to be heading to the pit lane. T-Brum's out on track, but he should be heading to, or he should be going into the pits as well. There's an Alpine, that's H. McGuire, who we haven't really seen much of so far this season from H. McGuire. He's looked pretty quick on the last game, of course, and then back here in Division 4 for the Alpine, and just hasn't really done too much so far in this season. Just looking for his name in the standings, 0 points, and of course this is his first race. So yeah, if anything, let's actually ride on board with the Alpine drivers. Maverick, why don't you take us through it?
Alright, so McGuire heading down into turn number 1. It lifts up just before you turn in, and then on the apex it kind of ducks away from you. Over the curves, turns 2 and 3. Take him with a, I don't even know what, they want to kill you. In through the S's, brakes just a little bit, swing it around the fake marina there on the left hand side, all the way out, use the curbs, tightens up on the end, or on the exit, and then onto the back straight that's not so straight. Through turn 10, open the DRS, hugs the wall, swings it back out to the right, brakes into turn 11. And then tries to use all the runoff that they give you here through the stadium section. Up the hill, under the viaduct. Mounts the curves. That right eye must be 11.11. There's no way it is anything lower than that. And then onto the final straightaway. DRS open. And as we sit and wait for him to just slam on the brakes down into turn 17. Turns in and he's a little bit of curve on the apex, and then 18 and 19 just hope the car doesn't snap around from you as you try to tight line to the line. P4, it is a 28.3, so a really good lap there from McGuire, puts him up into P4.
Ooh, and then he crashes.
And then he's out.
He's not
he's
out.
Not out.
But yeah, well, I don't think he was going to get another lap in anyways, unless he fueled for it. So that's definitely going to be the end of his session. So P4, the highest he could hope for. Energetics, Poldy Pool's looking to improve on that because, of course, Ben Scott, I'm not sure when Ben Scott retired, but yeah, we saw Esteban crash down there in just at the very end of the middle sector. So looking for someone else on a lap right now. EVG Damon has gone second with a 28.2. He's trying to get back to the pit lane. It'll be tight. I don't think he'll get out for another run, so that is going to be his final run. T-Brum just heading out of the pit lane right now. I think there's a Williams just crossing the line to start a lap. Old School's heading through the first sector. Ibo just headed through turn 1. Jav is coming down to turn 17 right now. Connor Keefe in the first sector. Saronje is going to be starting a lap here really soon. So here comes Ariel Jav, the sole owner now, I do believe, of Relentless Racing Team, through 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th here as we head through turn 19. Now over to the right hand side. He finds a second, but is only good enough to beat 16. Now no, that's Serial Killer crossing the line to start a lap. There's a half. Is that going to be Axel? No, he's just heading to first. Is Williams? Either Swip or Ibo. That'd be Swip starting. Ibo's just heading to the middle sector, and he's invalidated anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Jay Hings is just starting a lap. There's an Alpine. That will be H. McGuire, of course, guys. No front wing. The two Red Bulls are close to each other on effect. So looking to start lap. EVT James is on an out lap. I don't know if he'll be able to make it though, because he does have an Alpha Power right behind him that is on a flying lap in Jay Hings. Connor O'Keefe is on a lap. He's heading to the line. He's 6.5 tenths up out of the through the middle sector split. Let's see what it's going to be. It's a 28.9. That puts him into the top 10. It's a pretty decent lap there, but I'm sure you would have been hoping for more. Old School, 34.2 for him. He backed off though, so he's going to be going again. He's going to be lacking in the ERS department. However, Jordan is invalidated, so he's going to be going again now. Pulled his pole, no. Axel just coming to the line. Let's see what it's going to be for him. The two Ferraris on around outlaps. Axel finds himself up into the top 10 in the 29.0. Jamie Met across the line, finds 1.3 seconds. Jeff as well crossed the line, but I think he's just starting again. But she does have a half right in front of her. That could be a blocking penalty for, I believe that was Axel. Pulls now to the line and a half. 3.5 tenths in the middle sector. Loses a little bit in the final sector. He could have just gotten in front of H. McGuire here in Noir if he did a decent final sector, but lost time there. Lost just around a tenth. Jay Hings now heading through turn 17 and 18. 6th here. The ultimate short shifter here is Jay Hings to the line. Finds 4 tenths. EBD Damon was just behind him. Didn't quite make it to the line in time. So yeah, Jay Hings into P11. Not a little bit of time, but now the two Red Bulls. It's going to be Energetics, followed by Harry Noir. Let's see. Division 5 championship contender was Energetics last season. He puts it on provisional position with the 27.8, and Harry Noir cannot respond. He finds almost half a second on his lap, but still needed another 7 or 8 hundredths to put it on provisional pole position. I say provisional because CPI T-Brum is a tenth and a half up through the middle sector split. This is good enough to put him on the front row for the time being because it's the Red Bull 1-2. But can the Mercedes driver split or even put it in first? But no, he can't. He puts it 4 hundredths in front of Harry Noir. Cody Poles is not on a lap. Saron J is not on a lap. Neither is Axel. Jamie Met and Jess. Jess finds time, but no improvement in position. Jamie Met just past his teammate there. Swip is down at his time, so is Serial Killer, and well, we'll just watch on board with Ibo, see what he's able to do. But that's going to be NL Energetics up on top here in Miami after not the greatest starts to his season. 8 points in Bahrain, a decent result there, and then a DNF, and then didn't start in Coda. So looking to turn his season around. But also another storyline, T-Brum third in the championship, only 2 points behind Harry Noir. That's going to be the battle that I want to be looking at. T-Brum versus Harry Noir for the championship lead.
Yeah, I think definitely a shock pole position. I wasn't looking at Energy 16, or for at least the most of this session, for him to snatch pole position away. And I mean, Harry Noir, he was right there at the end. He even had the slipstream down the back straights, and he just wasn't able to get pole position. You'd think this long straight would help you enough, but it just didn't. And then T-Brum obviously separating the two Red Bulls. So yeah, and then as you said, T-Brum and Harry, the two championship contenders at the moment, they're going to be starting just kitty corner to each other. So that's going to be the battle. The thing is how is Energistics going to play this out? Is he going to play the nice teammate, or is he going to say, you know what, it's only round 4, I don't have to give you anything, and is he going to try to get back into this championship? this is shaping up to be a really good race. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. The two Red Bulls up at the front. T-Brum in second. The second Mercedes driver in Ariel Jordan down to 7th or 8th. But yeah, another solid result there for Jordan as well. So I just had to turn the game audio down just a little bit. But yeah, Energetics on pole position, followed by T-Brum and Harry Noir. Our top three split by less than 0.07 of a second, and all three of them into the 27th. Damon in fourth. I'm sure he would have done a little bit better if he was able to get that last flying lap in, but just missed the line by a few seconds. Harry Maguire in his first race this season is in fifth. Poldy Poles in sixth. Ben Scott 7th, and then Jordan, Connor O'Keefe, and Saronje will round out the top 10. The top 8 all split by a second. Now, Jay Hings in P11, Axel in P12, and then it's Esteban, Jamie Met, Jess, the two Ferraris, Swip in 16th, Jav 17th, and then Serial Killer, and then Ibo and Old School. The Battle of the Legends, battling it out for the final row of the grid.
I think I don't really top 18 in this race. They don't matter to me. I'm gonna be looking at Ibo and Old School for this entire race. Oh wait, what? No one told us this.
It's looking a little wet out here in Miami. We got a little bit of
Welcome to
rain in
Miami.
Division 1 qualifying, but yeah. You know what? Something that really intrigued me when I was driving around in qualifying for D1. As I looked at the palm trees, I looked at the rain, and it reminded me so much of the Bahamas. I don't know why, but it was just, I don't know. It just looked very similar. So good on Codemasters for making a nice looking game, but also screw you for making the game so bad.
All right.
I just had to get that a little bit out of the way. But
you really told them.
just had to get the usual Codemasters roast in, of course. But Jordan saying in the chat that the first two blocks are going to be inter, so it'll be a wet start. I'm actually going to change this audio slider just a little bit again because I went a little extreme on the party audio. There we go. All right. Out on track, all the tires are up. You can see the sun poking through the clouds as we head through this first sector and over to the west end of the circuit. But yeah, Energetic's going to be on pole position. Let's see how many drivers actually went for a wet setup, knowing that the race was going to be starting damp. I wouldn't say wet. It looks pretty moderate, the rain out there. It doesn't look to be dropping too heavy or too light, so perfect for the intermediate tires. But usually this race is either a hard-medium strategy or a medium-hard strategy, and you don't use too much fuel. So now with the rain, people are, I would imagine, to see most people underfueling.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see how long this rain lasts. If they can stretch these inters long enough to where they can get the mediums to the end, or will everybody just have to go on hards? If the rain ends pretty soon, I'll leave that to you to inform us on how long each of those tires last, because I have no idea. But I think that's going to be the main thing to look out for, is when this rain eventually stops. Will it be too soon for mediums, or will it be just right for mediums?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, of course. But Energetics, just want to point out, has gone for a very, very fast out lap, or a formation lap, slowing right down though on the grid to get it into his grid position. So it's going to be the two Red Bulls on the left, sandwiching a Mercedes who's going to be on the right. Let's see how these drivers parked their cars. Energetics just going straight and was actually gone a little bit too far in his grid box. T-Brum slightly pointed to the left. Damon going straight, H. McGuire, everyone going pretty straight as they get into their grid boxes. I think Connor O'Keefe with a little bit of a twist on him, as well as Cerrone, J. Hings, but besides that, everyone looking pretty good in their grid positions. But let's get back up to the front. Energetics, T-Brum on the front row. Energetics trying to find his way back into this championship. Let's see what it's going to be. 5 lights are on and 5 lights are off here in Miami for the first Miami Grand Prix. It's round 4, and Energetics with the worst start out of the top 3. T-Brum's going to be up the inside. of Harry Noir as they go side by side. The Red Bull and the Mercedes heading through turn 3 now. Harry Noir is on the outside of turn 3, and T-Brum is up into the lead on the inside, and that's going to be Damon, who we've seen so many times already this season, and Jordan out of the race into the wall. I think he's the only casualty of this one so far, and it's going to be a VSC right at the beginning. So 2 drivers inside the top 10 already down and out of this race almost. Damon down to 18th, Jordan out of this race entirely. So that's his first race outside of REL. Jordan already out of this one. That's very unfortunate. Old School picked up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Not sure what's going on between Old School, Damon, and Ivo, but Energetics with the worst start possible out of the top 3. Harry Noir leapfrogged him on the outside into turn 1. T-Brum just had the inside line, was able to keep it because that outside, not too kind, especially here in the wet on the outside. H. McGuire up into 4th. Let's see if we can get the position changes, if I can find him. As actually, we go green flag racing once again. So yeah, those are the position changes up on your screen. Serial Killer up 9 places from 18th. So that's the biggest gainer so far. And of course, Damon, the biggest loser so far in this race.
Yeah, wild start there. We'll have to take a look at the Stewart Sports to see if Jordan maybe was just trying to avoid Damon spinning across the track, and that's what put him in the wall, or maybe it could have been what Damon did and just lost it under traction going through turn 3. But as they run down the front straightaway, T-Brum has already pulled a substantial gap to Harry Noir behind, and DRS will not be available during this wet session as Jay Hinge is out at the final corner. Wow. And it's pretty tricky in the dry. That's not surprising to me someone's lost it there in the wet.
Yeah, it's surprising I didn't see more people lose it down at the final complex of corners in qualifying. But yeah, now with the wet, we just watched on board with Damon for literally 5 seconds, and he had about 3 snaps just heading through the final corner. So to be expected here in the wet, you have to be very, very careful. You have to lower the downforce as much as possible as you get into this race, especially on the front wing. You want to create a little bit of understeer just to get a little bit more stability in the car, in the rain, and then up that front wing once again to get that balance, that nice aerodynamic balance in the dry. But Cerrone J looking for a position on Ben Scott. The AlphaTauri breaks here into the corner. Let me get my track back up. Turn 11 now through turn 12. Ben Scott a little bit wide, just trying to cut it back, get the run through 13 and now 14. But no moves to be made through this section. However, Cerrone all over the back and hitting the back of that AlphaTauri. Let's see what type of run he can get here off of turn 16. Of course, no DRS as Maverick mentioned, but now the Alpine on the AlphaTauri. I think he's a little bit far back. Is the slipstream not quite powerful enough for the Alpine driver? No moves being made into the hairpin on this lap. That's probably the most favorable overtaking position on the circuit. Of course, once we do get back to those dry conditions, there's a DRS zone down into turn 1. There's a DRS zone down into turn 11. And of course, a DRS zone down into that hairpin that we just watched on board with.
Yeah, I think the issue here is that the different wing settings everybody's running, you need the DRS to make those overtakes, especially in the wet. It's even more difficult, and I don't think we'll be seeing too many overtakes. I would say naturally, pulling off to the inside and overtaking that way. I think the only overtakes we're going to see so far until this rain goes away is if someone does lock a tire up or just spins out, which is the unfortunate thing. We want these guys to stay racing. We want these guys to stay competitive. But that's why we race in the wet. It's to filter out the best of the best and to see who can be the master of all conditions. As Damon has retired at turn 3, same spot he spun out on lap 1. And the pack is nowhere near him, so hopefully that won't bring out a safety car. It doesn't look like we've had one yet, so I don't think we're going to get one, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, Damon retiring, Jay Hinks Jordan all out as well. So already 3 casualties in this race so far, only 17 remain. And there doesn't look to be much spray just riding off board with some of the cars as Cerrone fails to make an overtake yet again on lap number 3. CPI, well, speaking of the best really, CPI T-Brum off into the distance, really. 4 seconds already clear of Harry Noir. I don't think Harry Noir will be catching him anytime soon, neither will Energetics, because, well, he has to make his way past his teammate, H. McGuire, as it does seem the two Alpines seem to be a little bit out of position. His jab is into the pit lane. What is that going to be for? Is that going to be... There's no way that's a set of dries. There's no front wing. He's not even going for softs. He's going for mediums. It's still raining, Jav. What are you doing? Anyways, Jamie Met makes his way past Esteban because I'm not really sure why. There must have been a mistake there, but let's get back to Saronje. Polypoles actually, just as I said, the Alpines seeming to be a little out of position, looking to make moves. H. McGuire makes a mistake in the first sector. He's 1.2 seconds behind Energetics, and Polypoles is now putting him under pressure. So, yeah, that's just great.
I don't know about that medium strategy, but we'll have to see how it plays out. I don't think I mean, the rain is still coming down, so I don't think that's the right move. And yeah, I mean, he's going slow enough to where DRS enabled. Okay, so maybe Java's onto something.
Yeah.
You know, it could be one of those situations where the softs or where slick tires could be a little bit quicker, or maybe about the same pace.
Yeah, not really
See
sure.
if anybody else ducks in the pits.
Well, DRS is enabled, so it's still raining though. That's my real main concern with it, really, because it's still raining. The track the track might be drying out. There's hardly a spray left coming out from behind these cars. A serial killer, Jamie Met, all into the pit lane. Esteban, Jess Gamer in as well. So the two Ferraris have decided to double stack for dry tires. Let's see what it's gonna be for them. Is it all gonna be mediums? Jamie Met's on hards. That's interesting. I personally wouldn't do that. I'd rather just go for mediums. Esteban's getting a new front wing as well as a set of medium tires. Serial killer out on mediums. Jess on hards as well. That seems not great, but yeah, Jamie Met out into 11th. Old School trying to make his way around. You can see how much better warmed up inters are compared to the cold hards, but I'm sure in a few laps those hards will be they'll be decent. They won't be great, but they'll be a lot better than what those inters will be in a few laps time once it does start to dry out. But the track is still slick, so you have to be careful with while trying to get those warm tires or those hard tires warmed up, because you're just gonna be sliding across the surface of the track, not even putting temperature into your tires either. So it should be interesting. Saronje, purple middle sector for the Alpine driver, looking to make a move with DRS now active on the Alpha Tower. We're going to see moves, Polypole possibly on H. McGuire. Ooh, that's Ben Scott sending one up inside. Whoa. He's almost into the wall. He has to back out of it, and he's going to have to spin around Sebastian Vettel-esque, as now everybody's going to be into the pit lane except Harry Noir, who decides to stay out. T-Brum is on to a set of medians, and I think that is the best choice, really.
That seems to be the best choice. Usually when you're in these conditions where it's still a little bit damp out there, but it is fast to be on dry tires, you want the softer compound. They will grip into the surface a little bit better. We'll take a look at the gap when T-Brum comes out of the pits and see it's only 11, 12 seconds behind Harry Noir. So we'll have to see how much time Harry gains or loses while T-Brum tries to get these mediums with the temperature, and just see where Harry Noir comes out of the pits, whether or not this overcut is going to work. As Swift also stayed out on inters, and Old School as well. So still a couple guys trying to brave it out on the inters. See if they can just stretch it one more lap.
Yeah, if anything, I think this was, or the last lap was the lap to pit, because as you can see out on circuit, the circuit has dried it very, very quickly. So Inter's probably the right decision is with DRS dry tires, probably the right decision on that previous lap, because you can see how much time Swift is losing. Energetics 1.9 seconds, 1.7, 1.6, no, 2. All right, maybe just refuting my argument just a little bit, but yeah, even then, T-Brum really hasn't caught Harry Noir all that much. Maybe just the cold tire tax, but those intermediates not doing too bad for themselves, but now Harry Noir is going to be in. Let's see how he fares against the rest of the field. He should be out around Energetics. H. McGuire, Poldy Poles, Cerrone, and Ben's got lost quite a bit of time, just to mention, to the rest of the pack. But yeah, we'll ride on board with T-Brum as Harry Noir goes into a set of hards. That's interesting. T-Brum purple final sector, and you can kind of already see what type of pace he's going to have. Swift is in as well. Energetics. Let's see, coming down towards turn 1, Harry Noir just turned off his pit limiter. He's going to be well out into second place, but those hard tires are going to be pretty difficult to warm up right at the beginning.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Energistics catches up here and maybe sneaks into the DRS 1 second limit as they run through the S's and around the marina at the beginning of the second sector. So, yeah, easily is sneaked into that 1 second margin. Harry Noir just can't get these mediums up to temperature that quickly. And we'll see if Harry will let him go. He's weaving down the straightaway, trying to get any bit of temperature into the tires. Energistics was nearly past him even before he hit on that DRS button. Down to turn 11. Energistics now will try to close up that 7.5 second gap as Harry goes deep into turn 11. McGuire sneaks on through, side by side around the stadium section. Harry backs out of that. His tire's not warmed up just yet to fight. And Harry has lost out 2 positions by going on to the mediums, and Poldypo's behind him now. He's licking his chops, he's licking his lips, he's ready to get on that DRS button and try to overtake Harry Noir down into the final overtaking zone. But Harry has DRS, which is going to protect him just enough to keep Poldypo's behind for just 1 more lap. But hopefully Harry Noir's tires are heated up as of now. He's had 1 lap on him. As Sorrente behind Ben Scott gets past going into the final corner. Now we're starting to see the overtakes that we're usually seeing here in Miami. The serial killer got past Swift down onto about halfway down that back straightaway. We'll see if Ben Scott has anything into turn 1. No, he's just going to hang on back. But still at the front, it seems like Harry Noir's tires have finally heated up, and maybe he can hold off Poldypo's for as long as he can. Keep Energistics just hammering down on T-Brum.
Yeah, Energetics, McGuire, Harry Noir, Poldypo's, well, minus Harry Noir, all are on the mediums, and I don't really think they have a good shot at catching T-Brum, because T-Brum is absolutely flying in terms of pace in this race. Harry Noir almost dropped from DRS. H. McGuire was just able to sniff a little bit of it from that 1 second gap to the Alpine in front of him, and I think that's really the thing that's going to save him in this race, because the mediums are going to be much faster than those hard compound tires. A lot of technical, difficult traction zones and corners on the circuit, as you can see just through here. The hard sliding a little bit for the Red Bull. Poldypo's pretty planted, but he just has to back off a little bit because he can't be in the gearbox of that Red Bull all lap, and then if he gets a bad exit off of here, he's not really going to have a chance. As Energetic uses his ERS trying to get within DRS range, which he was unable to do, and now Poldypo's is thinking about this, and he's going to be in a pretty decent position. Harry Noir D-rating, doesn't have DRS, or at least didn't on that straight. And now, coming out of turn 17, he's going to have a good shot whenever Harry Noir, especially out of this first sector, because Harry Noir on those hards is going to be a lot worse than Poldypo's on the mediums as they head through the first sector. So, should be pretty interesting to see how Poldypo's can pull this overtake off, if he can, in the first place.
Yeah, Poldypo's didn't really gain as much time as I thought he would with the DRS, so Harry might be running with a little bit less wings than Poldypo's. That might be the saving grace for Harry, is that he's running with some lower wings that can help him down that straightaway even when he doesn't have DRS. But Poldypo's, he's going to have to excel on traction to get any sort of chance either through turn 9 or turn 8 and then down into turn 11, or even under the viaduct down into the final overtaking opportunity. Poldypo's, I think he's going to have to burn these tires if he wants to get past Harry. Or he could just stick behind, save some fuel, if that's even a thing around here, and maybe just get a couple positions eventually out of it. But yeah, we'll have to see what Poldypo's decides to do here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because now Harry Noir, not solidly within DRS range, but just holding on for all of his might, because this is really the thing that's going to keep him in this race. The mediums at the end, though, will be a lot quicker. I'm sure they're going to be pitting around lap maybe 15, 16, especially with the rain period at the beginning. So as T-Brum is into the 31.8 for T-Brum there, that's actually that's that's all right pace. You want to be trying to get it down towards the 30s. As Harry Noir with not the greatest of exits out of the final corner. And now Poldy Poles is just going to be up into P4, and he's finally got that move done. He'll be able to stretch those medium tires, maybe get onto the back of H. McGuire. But we'll see how that plays out for him, because now, if he can have a good first sector here, keep in front of Harry Noir down towards turn 11, I think Poldy Poles could just have a chance of getting up in front to Harry Maguire. Speaking of Harry Maguire, his teammate, Saronje, off into the wall at turn 3. He's overheated his tires. He's unghosted, so Axel will have to avoid him, and he's lost his front wing. So that is not great for Alpine or for Saronje. He's going to be down to the back now because he's going to have to make a pit stop, and he's going to have to go on a hards. They should go to the end, but they aren't going to be great once we do hit lap 29.
Yeah, Poldy Poles up at the front once again. He's made up a lot of time. I think when he got past Harry into turn 1, there was like, I think it was somewhere around maybe 1.8 seconds, somewhere around the 2-second mark. And now, going onto the back straightaway, he's lowered it down to 1.5 seconds. It was 1.2 before they went under the viaduct. And I think he just lost a little bit of time there. McGuire ahead, 65% ERS. Poldy Poles at 38. So advantage McGuire when it comes to the ERS battle. That might keep him ahead. He doesn't seem to be using it at all. He might just be saving it for either when he catches up to Energistics or when he decides to push to get to Energistics, or even when Poldy Poles gets within that 1 second, then he needs something to defend with. But yeah, as another yellow flag seems to be, I think, Old School once again, just wrapping it around. Going into senior section as Sarante gets into the pits to get a new front wing on that Alpine. And it seems to be the hard compound tires going on that Alpine car. And he will rejoin in 15th place. He's going to have a lot of work to do in order to catch back up to the field and battle just out for 14th.
Yeah, I've just been looking a little bit further down the field. Esteban versus Jamie Met. Esteban using all of his ERS, trying to pull away from the Ferrari driver, but his hard tires have been fired up very nicely. Those hard tires, once you get him past that warming up stage, you get him to 90 plus degrees Celsius, they do start to work pretty nice. He has the DRS, does Jamie Met, and he has quite a bit more ERS than the Alfa Romeo in front of him, 10% compared to 71, 72. A Swip and Serial Killer go side by side. Swip on the soft compound tires, which is an interesting decision after pitting from the intermediates. He was the last runner to pit from the intermediate tires, besides Old School, of course. So Swip heading through the chicane, avoiding all the curves, losing a little bit of time. Serial Killer just has to wade in behind and wait and wait and wait, and then punch it as they go on to the back straight. Swip has no ERS, but he's using everything that he does have. Serial Killer doing the same, but he has the DRS as well to help tow him. Jab him behind, he doesn't have ERS either. Here in Miami, it's so very difficult. It's almost impossible to save ERS, and once you do use it, it's going to be completely gone. Swip, Serial Killer both going a little bit deep. Jab possibly getting an opportunity to look at the back of Serial Killer as they head into turn 1. They both should have DRS, so they're going to be pretty even in terms of straight line speed, and Jab is not going to be close enough to make an overtake here on this lap. If anything, Swip seems to be the one kind of holding these two back, even though he is on those soft compound tires. I'm sure they're very close to overheating, although it is pretty cloudy overhead.
Yeah, I don't think the track temperature is too high with the clouds, and this almost seems like a retro battle from like the mid 2000s. No battery to help overtake, no ERS power to help overtake, and it's definitely giving me some mid 2000s vibes with the old V8 engines in the back of those cars. But yeah, just it's going to be difficult without ERS to overtake, and they're all D rating as well. It's not like Swip's out of DRS and Serial Killer and Joth have a bunch to use, and they don't have a lot at all. They're all just under about 10% as Old School spins out at turn 1 and 2 once again. And I think Serial Killer's finally spun around.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think the Alfa Romeo just had a little bit of a spin down at turns, or the 14-15 chicane, but I was watching on board with Ben Scott and Connor O'Keefe. Connor O'Keefe was really close out of 16, just couldn't quite get the move done. He doesn't have he doesn't have really any ERS. Ben Scott had a lot more. I think he used a little bit just to stay in front to the AlphaTauri driver, but he's kept P6 for the time being. And then back up at the front, Poldypoles versus H. McGuire. Poldypoles pushing the Alpine through turns 7 and 8. And they're almost side by side on the exit. It's going to be Poldypoles is the one who's going to get the DRS. H. McGuire is not going to have anything really to defend with besides his 50% ERS, which he uses now that the DRS is active. Poldypoles using his ERS as well. It's going to be side by side into turn 11. I would imagine Poldypoles chooses the outside as H. McGuire forces him out there. They're going to go side by side through 11. There's an Alston Martin who spun. Now side by side through 12. Poldypoles just battering his way through. H. McGuire tried to close the door, but there was no door to close for him there as Poldypoles makes his way through and up and out of the podium as H. McGuire. I've just watched the most blatant corner cut in my life, but now he's going to get DRS, and this is bringing Harry Noir right back into it. He's not going to have DRS now, but this is keeping him in the fight for later on in the race when he's on those medium tires and when the two in front are on the hards. Here, H. McGuire using his ERS. Poldypole swinging to the inside. Serial Killer's retired on track. Is it going to be a safety car? I don't know, but H. McGuire is back into the lead. He goes a little bit deep, and ooh, that's a contact between the Haas and the Alpine, and the Alpine is going to be allowed in front because Poldypoles makes a little bit of a mistake there. H. McGuire, or we're back to where we were just a lap ago. Poldypoles P4, H. McGuire P3, and now we're going to do it all over again.
And this time we got Harry Noir has decided to join the battle with these two battling for the last 2 sectors of the lap. We'll see how much Harry can affect this battle. He's in the DRS, and if they fight through around the marina here, Harry might have a chance to get both of them into turn 11. He's going to have the double slipstream, and he'll have DRS. He doesn't have as much ERS as those guys ahead of him, but I feel he can make something work here if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, definitely can. I'm sure he won't want to get too involved in this race for the fear of ruining his own race. Poldypole's looking to the outside once again. He tries to break late around the outside. Can't quite keep it on the track because H. McGuire just doing enough to stay in front for the time being as we head through 12, 13, now 14 and 15. And now we're going to head up towards the left-hander of 16. The all-important corner as we head onto the back straight. Poldypole's not having the greatest of runs through the chicane. If anything, H. McGuire might be safe on this lap. And Harry Noir, once again, not wanting to get involved in this battle. If anything, it'll just lose in time. And right now, I'm sure he's sitting pretty happy because he has a little bit of ERS. He's not derating, and he has DRS just to tow him along for the time being, away from Ben Scott and away from Connor O'Keefe. Speaking of Ben Scott and Connor O'Keefe, Ben Scott is now derating. Connor O'Keefe just staying behind for the time being, although he has the DRS and surely should have a better run as they head into 17, but no move being made yet for the McLaren.
Yeah, we'll see if anything can be done here into turn 1. This front straightaway is not that long. It's not that long of a DRS zone, so turn 1, like the move, if you're going to make the move, you got to be right on the guy's gearbox running through the final corner, but he's pretty close here out of turn 3. Let's see if he makes a lunge into the S's, but it doesn't seem like it. Ben Scott knows better. He's got another DRS straight coming up after the marina. I mean, he is... Oh! Ben Scott's around. And was there some contact there? There might have been some contact. I've never seen a pit maneuver. If that's what happened, that's the first time I've seen a pit maneuver. Connor, like a gentleman he is, lets Ben Scott go, so I am pretty confident there might have been some contact there as they ran around the marina. So Ben Scott back up into 6th place. Connor exceeding the position to the AlphaTauri driver, and we'll have this battle all over again as they run under the viaducts and onto the back straightaway. Let's see if Connor can make this move cleanly this time down into turn 17.
Yeah, the battle just up in front of them has seemingly cooled down just a little bit. So Ben Scott, Connor O'Keefe Connor O'Keefe giving up all that time just to give the position back to Ben Scott in hopes of not picking up any license points from the very strict Eloise Stewart. Oh, and Ben Scott goes around. So that's kind of, messed up everything there for Connor O'Keefe. So he's given up time and he's gotten the position. So Connor O'Keefe 12.5 seconds behind Harry Noir now, as he was only around 8 as Ben Scott heads into the pit lane. And I would imagine for a set of hard compound tires to go to the end of this race. And I'm sure soon enough we'll see people pitting. I would imagine we see Harry Noir into the pit lane soon enough. But speaking of people that should be going into pit lane, it would be Poldypoles and H. McGuire. H. McGuire has been absolutely awful through the first sector, but for whatever reason, maybe he just has like 0-0 wings or something. Maybe his wings are like completely inverted. He should be flying right now. He has no downforce because he's just flying in a straight line. Polypoles has nothing to counter it to get this overtake done. And even when he has made a move around the outside of turn 11 and kept it through all this section in the middle sector as he makes another mistake through the chicane, H. McGuire just re-overtakes the Haas, and then Polypoles has to do everything over again. That's really brought Harry Noirg into this, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Harry Noirg up to energetics by the end of this race.
Yeah, I think McGuire, he must be running some low downforce, like you said, because he was pushing 200 miles an hour all by himself, and you usually don't get that high of some speed unless you're running anything lower than probably 20 wings. So might have been the strategy call there. Run some low wings, just kind of fight it out during the rain period at the beginning of the race, and then just fly for the remaining 2/3 of this Grand Prix. But if Polypoles wants to get past here and he thinks he's quicker, he's got to show it, and he's got to use those medium compound tires to his advantage. As McGuire made a mistake there through the Marina section, Polypoles now on his gearbox, but just look at how much he can pull away from him even before the DRS line down into turn 11. That is some unreal speed there.
Yeah, H. McGuire doing his best Lightning McQueen impression, really, just flying down the straights, using using literally no downforce. He is a NASCAR. He can't go through the first sector, but he's flying down the straights, keeping Polypoles and Harry Noirg in behind for the time being. Polypoles just has to sit here. He can't really do much. All he can really do is save his ERS and hope for, well, something to happen to the Alpine in front of him. And it doesn't help also that the Alpine has just picked up DRS off of Old School there, down in 15th place. So that's one more thing that Polypoles has to worry about, because now there's a decent enough gap, and I don't think Polypoles will be getting a shot at this one unless he picks up a really good run with no dirty air in front of him going onto the straight. But even then, H. McGuire's wings are so low that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that for how fast McGuire is, he's not catching up to Energistics, and I think that's what Polypoles thought was going to happen is, oh, I'll just stick behind McGuire here. Maybe he'll bring us up to Energistics, but it just hasn't happened. And I mean, you can see there just how slow McGuire is around the Marina turn 8, or through turn 7 and turn 8, and then even before the DRS zone pulls out 3/10. And then because that beginning part is so much longer than this part where you can have the DRS open, Polypoles just has nothing. It's almost just like running on empty. You can't do anything about it unless he makes another pit stop and then lowers his wing, but I just don't see the value in that. I mean, you're going to finish 4th. Just hope he makes a mistake eventually. I think that's about all Polypoles can do here.
Yeah, he doesn't even really have to make the overtake, because if he doesn't think he has the pace to match Energetics, as there is a Williams around, that would be Ibo in the first sector. If he doesn't have the pace, his Ben Scott's out. Is that going to be a safety car?
Ooh.
It's kind of on the racing line, not really, but it's kind of, you know, it could be a safety car. It could be a safety car, but no, Codemasters, showing how good their game is. Anyways, yeah, Ben Scott leaves the session after that crash. Old School picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. A little eager there, Mark, but he was on 11-lap old soft tires, so that's kind of fair for him. So riding on board with Polypoles here in P4, just in behind H. McGuire. You can see just how much time he gains through the first sector. Oh, he sent it up the inside, up through turn 7, and he's gotten the move done. However, this is kind of screwed him now, because H. McGuire is going to have DRS. He's using his DRS. So is Polypoles. What is this going to be? It's going to be a re-overtake for H. McGuire. Who could have called it? Not me. Into turn 11 here as the Alpine flies clear, and that's larger than the gap that he had last lap, even without Polypoles, or without making the overtake on Polypoles. So, yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous, but H. McGuire keeping the position once again.
I think LOE should go to default setups only. Try to keep these guys more in line. But yeah, just I mean it was a desperation move. Polypoles figured if I can just beat him out on traction through turn 7, maybe just maybe I can stay ahead going into turn 11. But it just doesn't work like that. Oh, as McGuire loses the rear ends through the final corner, and both of them are going to come in the pits.
Yeah, that's almost 13, 14
Wow.
laps for the medium, so that's about how much you want to be doing. But what are they going to pit onto? They can't go for hards, can they? Yeah, they're going to go for softs. Those tires aren't going to be great. They should have gone a little bit longer. Ooh, but this is interesting. Poles going onto the hards. H. McGuire going onto the softs, and H. McGuire gets held. That is, well, I mean, a little bit of a handicap for the Alpine driver because Poles now will have a decent enough lead coming out of the pit lane, but those hards are going to be freezing. Those soft tires are going to be so much better. And now they also have to deal with Axel and Esteban getting on the back of these guys because they have old tires but warm tires to help them out. H. McGuire is going to be, well, he's going to be trying to fly through this first sector if he wasn't already flying through the first sector, literally. On these soft tires, they're going to get warm pretty quickly. I'm sure they'd be up to temperature by the time he gets to the final sector. So here we go. H. McGuire with his wing. What is it going to be? Let's see how much he's going to catch on this straight. It was about 1.4 seconds. Now he's gaining with the ERS. Even Axel Kurz can't keep with him, even with the DRS, and he gains 3/10 almost just down the straight, even with a little bit of ERS. But yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. But Poles on those hard tires, still not doing too much. H. McGuire, if he has a good chicane here, could hop within DRS range, and I think he's just done that. There's a really tight chicane for the Alpine driver, and he's going to have DRS, and this is really going to help him going forward in this race, even with that 3-second time penalty. I think he might just be able to pull out of DRS range if he can get this overtake done very soon.
See if he gets it into turn 11, or not turn 11, sorry, that's turn 17. Just holds it back a little bit. He might get it done here into turn 1 if he's close enough. As Serrate retires at the corner coming out safety car.
It's a full safety car.
Ooh.
And Esteban's in. That should be everybody. Oh, that's really screwed over Poles. Not deciding to pit for softs. Because the main concern with pitting for softs was that they might not last, but now with the safety car, everyone should be in for a set of softs. And this also kind of screws over T-Brum. Well, I mean, T-Brum had to pit anyways, as well as Energetics, Harry Noir, and all that, but yeah, all right. So T-Brum should be in, Energetics, Harry Noir. It'll be a Red Bull 2-3, I would imagine. Connor O'Keefe will be 6th, I think, with Poles and H. McGuire pitting both. Ooh, Poles really has been screwed over here. But yeah, let's get on board with T-Brum. He's going to be into the pit lane. Ivo continues on to get his lap back. Ooh, T-Brum sped! That changes things even more. So he sped into the pit lane. 5-second time penalty. He's going to have to pull that gap now, as Energetics are going very slow into the pit lane for no apparent reason. Maybe just making sure he doesn't speed. Harry Noir, I'm sure, will be doing the same because Connor O'Keefe will be in so that he has enough of a gap to get out in front. But Energetics in, and then the Red Bull mechanics will have to turn around and put another set of soft tires on their other car. Soft tires go on, hard tires come off, and off the jacks we go. And the Red Bull is out of his pit stall. Connor O'Keefe is in. Poles is gonna go in. I think he should have. I want to say he should have just stayed out, but then at the same time, like, he can't really just stay out. How many positions is Poles gonna lose? Let's see. Well, he's double stacked. He's kind of screwed his teammate over. Not really. He's only gonna lose one position. But yeah, Poles has lost what? He was in front of H. McGuire, so he's in 4th. 1, 2. He's only lost 2 places, to be fair, actually. So yeah, with the field spread as it is, that's actually probably not the worst decision he could have made, because T-Brum has a 5-second penalty, although I doubt Poles would be able to stay in it, but I think H. McGuire would be the one position that he'd be gaining right now. However, we're on lap 22, so safety car will be in the next 2 to 3 laps.
Yeah, this is It's going to be a wild finish. Everybody's on softs. And H. McGuire really the only driver on worn softs, but really how worn are they really going to be? I mean, there's only 2 laps on them, and I think only one of those laps was under racing speed, and it was his out lap. So I don't think that really put too much wear on those tires. But yeah, this is this is going to be a wild finish. I think everyone's probably going to be. Jeez, I can't speak today. I think everyone's going to be really aggressive here. I don't think anybody's really going to give an inch. And it not surprise me if we see some wheel-to-wheel contact in these last 5 or 6 laps that we're going to get of racing here, as we're just waiting for Jess and the remaining 6 drivers there in the back to catch up to the safety car. Once they do, we'll get back underway.
Yeah, just waiting for everybody to catch up. I think we'll be restarting going on to lap 25, I believe. So with the field spread the way that it looks as of right now, but we can just wait and see. I am going to very quickly, pull up the Division 2 stream just to see what is going on.
Safety car.
As that is Jay Cole's lovely voice that you were just hearing there. And they have a safety car on lap 23. What a coincidence. As of right now in Division 2, Nathan GR63 leads from Ariel Slash, that's what I meant to say. Both of them have penalties though, so the 2 Alpines with penalties in the first 2 positions. Then it's Luke 05 followed by Rickert, Ben JS, QVR Killer, IoT Dairy, Emily Creco, DTR Brent, Ariel Felipe, who's made it more than 2 laps this race. Congratulations, Jack. Larkin is an 11th newest ERT signing, thus Stream in 12th, Licks in 13th, and then who is Ariel Evans in 14th, and then Emily Mauricio in 15th with Jum and Taupe both crashing out. So, safety cars in both divisions as of right now. They are just crossed over to lap 24. We will be crossing over to lap 24 very soon as well. Just waiting for the rest of the pack to catch up. But right now, just looking at tire strategy, the only one, or everybody's on softs. The only one not on softs is Ibo on mediums. So Ibo and Old School, both a lap down as of right now, and they're just looking really just to catch up to the field, score a few points if there are some retirees before the final lap. So, yeah, not too much. The battle of the legends, of course, Ibo and Old School, and we'll see how that goes for those 2.
Probably should have streamed this myself and just focused on Old School and Ibo this entire race. I feel like that should happen.
Yeah,
that needs to be a thing. One of those races, I'll see if we can get that done. Maybe the final race of the season.
The finale.
The real championship battle.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could get a quick championship update. We can go off the screen. We should be going this lap, but we'll quickly get up. What do we want to get up? We want the standings. That's what we want, don't we? So yeah, standings here in Division 4 as of right now. Harry Noarg leads the championship. He is currently in 3rd place. Connor O'Keefe is in 2nd in the championship. Where is he? He is in 5th right now. So net 3rd, but once again, I don't think many people will be staying within 5 seconds of T-Brum. T-Brum 3rd in the championship. He looks to be taking the lead of the championship as of right now with his ridiculous pace. And then Jordan, who is 5th in the championship, he is was the first retiree of this race, and the safety car should be in on this lap as we just crossed the middle sector split. Now Jay Hings in 5th. Jay Hings is in 19th and out of the race. Him and Jordan, the first 2 retirees. Ben Scott is 6th in the championship, is out of the race as well. Jamie Met in the Ferrari is in P11, and then Damon Poldipols and Jess Gamer are the rest of the standings. But let's get the screen back up because we are getting very close to going back racing here in Miami. T-Brum weaving vigorously, trying to get temperature into his tires, even though he'd like to start them with a little bit cooler than normal, just because those soft tires are going to warm up very, very quickly. T-Brum out of turn 17, punches the throttle and the ERS, and he's out of the final quarter, and has caught Energetics absolutely napping. This gap is already a second and a half. Yep, T-Brum's winning this race. I could have called it. I saw it coming, but yeah, Energetics not having the greatest restarts. He's had a lockup into the first quarter, and now he is leading Harry Noir away from Ace McGuire, Connor O'Keefe, Poldy Bulls, Esteban, Axel Kurz, Jess Gamer, Ariel Jav, who's found his way into the top 10 somehow. Jamie Met is 11th, Swift is 12th, Old School and Ibo just looking to get out of the way because they are lapped, of course. But now, let's ride on board. Connor O'Keefe couldn't quite make his way past Ben Scott cleanly up until the moment where Ben Scott spun it, and now punching his ERS, punching that button, hitting it, trying to get everything that he can out of his ERS and out of his battery storage, trying to make his way past Ace McGuire with his terrorist wings, but to no avail because the Alpine is literally... That Alpine should not be a car. That thing is literally a plane as the way the wings are so low.
Yeah, I think I don't think the Alpine will pass park firm inspections after this one. I don't think I think McGuire might lose out on this 4th place, and everyone's just going to shuffle up a position. But yeah, at the front, obviously T-Rum 1.7 seconds. I mean, that's what it was after he crossed the start-finish line. So I think T-Rum just got to keep it on the tarmac. He'll pull away from this one. He has to make up that 5-second penalty, though, so he's got to keep going as fast as he can. So that's the fastest lap of the race to 29.8. A really quick lap for the Mercedes driver. So yeah, he's going to have to pull out that 5 seconds. Energistics is 1.7 ahead of Harry. And like you were saying at the beginning, Harry Noir is the championship leader at the moment, and it doesn't seem like Energistics is playing the teammate game. He is probably saying it's only round 4. He's got a long season ahead. So I think Energistics is going to take this P2 and run away with those 18 points. But McGuire, he isn't catching up to Harry Noir. He's still trying to hold off Connor and Poldy Poles as they run through the curved back straightaway. Poldy Poles pulls to the outside, down into turn 11. Connor tries to brake late, the switchback. Connor's got the inside through the stadium section. That's the preferred line through here. And Connor will keep the position as they run under the viaducts and out onto the back straightaway. Really good defensive drive from Connor there. Sent it in deep, held the inside line through this section, and will keep P5 for the time being. DRS will be enabled this lap on lap 27, so we'll see how much that changes things here on these last 3 laps of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, DRS being enabled is going to be huge for some of these drivers for their own individual battles. It won't affect T-Brum too much because Energetics 2.5 seconds behind Harry Noir, another 2.5 seconds or so behind that. But Ace McGuire, it really could be crucial for him because this 3-second penalty is currently putting him in 6th behind Poldy Poles. If he can keep DRS range to Harry Noir, it's going to be difficult because of his whatever wings he's running, -5, -6 for Harry McGuire. You can see how much understeer he picks up through this first sector. And Harry Noir just able to pull so much through that first sector, just the technical bits of the circuit. And then once you get to the second half, really is when H. McGuire's setup really comes into its own because he can just pull away in the straights. Connor O'Keefe, Poldy Poles can't really do anything about it. Connor O'Keefe now being saved because of this from Poldy Poles because he doesn't have any more ERS. He used all of it on the previous lap, and now he can just sit in behind H. McGuire, get towed along. Poldy Poles can't do a thing. And yeah, everybody seems to be chilling for the time being. The only other battle is Esteban versus Axel. Esteban with a little bit of a mistake through the chicane, got a little bit slidey up the top of the hill there, but Axel Kurz is not going to be able to do anything about it. He's going to have DRS, but it won't do too much for him besides close him up just a little bit because he's not close enough to make an overtake across the line on lap number 28. CPI T-Brum looking to pull that 5-second gap as Jamie Met and Jess Gamer swap positions. The two Ferrari drivers battling for 10th and 11th as Jab is cleared off after making his move past Jess. Now he's onto the back, or we're looking onto the back of Axel, who's made a mistake in the final sector. But now into turn 1 through turn 2 and through turn 3, Connor O'Keefe on the back of H. McGuire, and that's really as close as you can get without hitting the driver next to you as they head now through these flicky bits of 4, 5, 6, and then 7. He takes a wide entry as there's a Williams around that sweep. I thought Connor O'Keefe might send one, but he's looking to make the run. A little bit of contact that's going to halt his progress for the time being. Connor O'Keefe looking to the inside for turn 9 and then through turn 10. And H. McGuire just flying down the straight line as Polypols uses all of his ERS to make the overtake. He had the double slipstream off the exit of the corner. Is he going to be close enough to H. McGuire? No, he's not, as Connor O'Keefe goes deep into 11. But Polypols has made the move, and he has a significant amount more of ERS than H. McGuire. Let's see what he can do through here. Over that little hill. And now onto the back straight. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. His best shot is going to be get side by side to the first sector, get DRS, get side by side, get DRS, make H. McGuire make a mistake, and then use all of your ERS and DRS to try and make that move.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Polypols has finally learned after being behind H. McGuire for all these laps is that he's not going to get past him. McGuire has the 3-second penalty. So Polypols will just get the P4 at the moment. Or he will get the P4 at the end of this lap. We are on the final lap of the Miami Grand Prix Round 4 here in League of Europe. T-Brum still has not pulled out that 5 seconds. He's only got 2 more sectors to do so, and he's got to find about 2 seconds. He's got to find a sector, and that might be a little bit difficult, seeing that he has almost no ERS. The T-Brum has, this is a dominant race that he has had. His axle has spun around the Marina section, and that has dropped him all the way behind the 2 Ferraris.
Oh, Polypols. Sorry. Polypols almost being put into a wall as Connor O'Keefe goes really deep into the corner. Not expecting Polypols to be lifting off as we go through the stadium section of turn 12 and through turn 13 as the McLaren still on the inside. He's going to try and fit through there. That's a gap, not for a car, as Polypols almost saved the car. It went to the left, went back to the right. He picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's ghosted inside of the McLaren. H. McGuire is still in 4th. Is Connor O'Keefe going to get DRS? I'm not sure. No, he doesn't. So Polypols still has a shot, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. But up at the front, CPI T-Brum has been absolutely dominant in this race. His pace has been absolutely insane. He was on pole position in qualifying. He gets the 5-second penalty, though, as Polypols dives it on Connor O'Keefe, and Connor O'Keefe is just going to keep that position. But, however, oh, never mind. I was reading the wrong gap. I thought they lost the 3 seconds. But, yeah, Connor O'Keefe into 4th. Polypols picked up a 3-second time penalty, for cutting that corner. So H. McGuire finishes 5th. That's really the best he could have hoped for there. But Energetics wins this race after, in his, not his first race of the season. He picks up another 25 points to his name to add to his 8 that he picked up in Bahrain. CPI T-Brum will leave this race leading the championship, I do believe, even with his second place finish. Harry Noir is going to be finishing 3rd. Connor O'Keefe in 4th, H. McGuire 5th with his terrorist wings. Esteban Polypols Ariel Jab finishes in 8th, so I'm sure that what he would have been hoping for from this race. Jamie Met and Jess, the 2 Ferraris, battling finishing in 9th and 10th. And then Axel Kurz with his late spin finished 11th, and then Swip will pick up the final podium position in this race. Round 4, of course, for the League of Europe. And that is going to be the conclusion of it. Energetics wins. He didn't have the best pace overall, so takes home the fans' vote for driver of the day. He didn't have the best pace overall. T-Brum had that, but that 5-second penalty, while having a 12-second lead under safety car when everybody else behind you was going to pit as well, not the greatest decision ever for him. So that is going to be Energetics' win, his first of the season, his first podium of the season as well. as he steps to the top of the podium with his Red Bull teammate Harry Nowag, of course, and the championship gap will stay pretty close between T-Brum and Harry Nowag. But the final results are Energetics and then T-Brum in second place with the fastest lap as well. Harry Nowag in third will round out the podium. Then it's Connor O'Keefe, H. McGuire in fifth, Esteban, Poldy Poles, Jab, Jamie Met, Jess, and then Axel Kurz and Swip will take home the top 12 positions and all of the points finishing positions. And then it's Old School and Ibo, the only two to finish. However, the only two to finish outside of the points, however, both a lap down. It's Roger Benscott, Serial Killer, EVG Damon, Jay Higgs, and Jordan are all your non-finishers. So let's get back up here and we can invite these guys to the party. Still getting used to the PS5 keyboard. How do I get... Alright, you added them to the party. And we'll just wait for them to get in here. So, just before they do get in here, next week we are heading to Monza, I do believe. I will not be here, so a little taste of your own medicine there, Maverick. But, you know, hopefully we could find a very good co-commentator.
Yeah, I get it.
Or a very good commentator to help you along next week. But our first place finisher has joined us in the party. NL Energetics, it just seemed like a few months ago that we were in parties together at the end of races. But here in Division 4, you pick up your first race win of the season. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel pretty excited. 1.5 weeks of practice paid off. The first, I think, I practiced because I didn't know the track, didn't know the track limits and the braking points. That's why I practice, and it's kind of a nice track. If you have a flow of it, if you are in traffic, it's hard because you make mistakes and you spin and stuff. And luckily, it didn't happen this time. And yeah, it was a long time being here.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the end of Season 7, of course. But you scored points in Bahrain, picked up a P6 finish, and then the DNF in Imola, and then, of course, not racing last time out, the first sprint race in Circuit of the Americas. So, pretty decent to pick up a good win, get your championship off to a very good start here. What do you think of Monza next week?
Ooh, Monza next week. That's one of my favorite tracks. Didn't do it that much on this game yet, but I heard the curbs are still lethal. But yeah, one of my good tracks. But the other way around, you can run 0-0 wings there, and that's gonna be shit. So I need to get a new setup.
Yeah, Maverick, do you have any questions for our race winner?
I can't think of anything. If I do, I'll ask him at the end. But I'll leave you to the questions there, Packer.
Okay. Next, CPI T-Brum. Dominant in qualifying, dominant in the race. That last safety car really was quite unlucky. But what was going through your head when that safety car did come out? And then obviously that led to the 5-second penalty that ended up losing you the race. So just general field, safety car, and then the race as well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped because my tires were at like 70%, so I was hoping for one. And then, I mean, I swear I was at 80 kilometers an hour. This game is kind of bugged, but yeah, I just picked up the penalty and couldn't recover after that.
Yeah, you did Put in a very good effort though, just towards the end of the race, but just not enough laps to pull out that gap. In qualifying, I believe pole position time. I want to, or no, you were in second, weren't you? I think I got that wrong at the end of the stream.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did you have any more time in your lap? Because there was only a few hundreds between the top three up there. So did you have any more time in your lap? Was there any mistakes or anything, or how did you feel about qualifying?
Um, I I think Connor O'Keefe retired from the session, and his ghost was um just in the middle of the track, and I had to swerve out. Probably lost a tenth or two out of that, but yeah, outside of that, it was a good lap.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very nice performance. I believe this promotes you up to the top of the championship. Of course, you were only a few points behind Harry Noirg coming into this week anyway. So still tight at the top. How do you feel about your championship hopes?
Um, I think now that Ryan B's gone, I think that I've got a pretty good chance to win. So I think just having consistency will definitely help.
All right, and then of course next week Monza. How do you feel?
Um, I don't really like Monza mostly because it doesn't really fit my driving style. High downforce is my style, and 0-0 wings does not help me. But I think that with practice I can definitely do well.
All right, looking to see you put in another good performance next week. Now we can move on to Harry Noirg, our third place finisher, third in qualifying, third in the race. Bit of a consistent day. What was going through your mind when you did see the rain, and then also thinking forward to the strategy once it did dry up once again, and also the decision to go into hards?
Yeah, it was a bit scary to be honest with the rain. I didn't expect to rain so much at the start. I thought because of the chart that it would be quite dry quite quickly. So I just wanted to honestly finish the race, get the points, and not DNF because I think it's really valuable for the championship. So yeah, I just wanted to finish the race and keep my place, to be honest. And about pitting, about the hards, I wanted to do one stop, and I saw all the other guys like pitted for mediums. I don't think they would go to the end. So I just wanted just to make one pit stop and see where it goes because I didn't have the pace to be more aggressive.
Yeah. Well, I think the hard tires. It would have been the better decision if, of course, the safety car didn't come out. But what were you thinking once the safety car did come out and making that decision to softs? I'm sure it was pretty straightforward, but were you maybe stressed out a little bit because you did have the two guys in front of you pit and lose time? So were you happy that the safety car came out? Not happy, or what was the thoughts?
I wasn't really happy, but I don't think it made any difference at the end. So yeah, when the safety car came out, I just had to pit for softs because in the hards I would be like slows, very slow, let's say. So yeah, I'm not very happy, but it didn't make any difference at the end.
Yeah, losing your championship lead to T-Brum this week, do you think you could get it back as we head to Monza next week?
Surely I will try. Like in this race, surely I didn't have the pace. I think he's definitely a bit quicker than me, but I just want to be consistent and see where it goes. Surely I will try my best in the next one.
All right. Well, thank you, and congratulations to everybody in this party on your podiums. Maverick, do you have any final questions or thoughts before we end the stream?
I do not.
All right.
I will next week, though. I promise. I'll have some questions ready.
we'll make sure to get ready to lead interviews as well next week anyways. So yeah, once again,
True.
congratulations everybody, and thank you for joining us in the comms booth and doing wonderful interviews. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for round number 4 of the Miami Grand Prix. Of course, we head to Monza next week, as we've already said many a time already. And yeah, thanks for watching everybody, and have